Hello there and welcome. Yes, we are Geeks Assembled and we have gathered here once again today and we're going to talk Batman and specifically the 1960s Batman. And we're going to talk about the Purr-fect Crime and better luck next time. So let's start off with Beef Dad in Germany. What did you make of this story, Beef Dad, these two episodes?
Wow, I saw them when they were originally aired in 1966. 3 months before the accident that put me in hospital for 5 months. And wow, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. Julie Newmar, absolutely superb as the villainess Catwoman. She was just amazing, and for an awful long time nobody could imagine anyone else playing Catwoman until one of my favorites came along. But we're not talking about the later Catwoman, we're talking about Julie Newmar, and she's brilliant in this. She's clever, crafty, she plans things brilliantly, and she does the cat thing superbly. She really does. Adam West and Burt Ward playing Batman and Robin. What a couple. They were just an incredible combination, the two of them. They worked so well together. It's impossible to imagine anyone else doing Batman and Robin like this in the series. And of course, Alan Napier playing Alfred the butler. He was just absolutely brilliant. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think anyone has ever really come up to him and the way he played Alfred. Of course, she had Leo and Felix, her two henchmen, who are they're both brilliant. They're both brilliant. And of course, the marvelous thing about it was the fight scenes. And you had the big zap, kapow, bam, splattered onto the screen in bright, colourful letters. It was just amazing. It had never been done before, and it was just so good. And you just didn't want to miss the next episode because their cliffhangers were superb when they did a 2-part story, and they would have a cliffhanger. And yeah, their cliffhangers, you couldn't touch them. They're absolutely superb. So there you go.
And let's move over. Let's go to Kevin, actually. What did you think about these episodes, Kevin?
Well, this is the first time that I seen the Batman in the 60s. I've played the Batman 60s in Batman Arkham Knight because I got that skin. But for the first time seeing this Batman on screen, it's very surprising. Sadly, Adam West isn't with us anymore, but the Catwoman is better than Halle Berry's atrocious Catwoman. And yeah, I really liked these two episodes. They were short and very good to watch. And Alfred, he was like, "Oh, there's a phone for you," and then Batman picks it up. And Robin, yeah, well, we all know who Robin is in this version. And yeah, I really like them. So yeah, that's my opening thoughts.
And let's go over to Alex and Susan. Go ahead, Alex and Susan. What did you think about these episodes?
Funny enough, coming from Massachusetts, it was one of the few syndicated TV shows that it was on more than 2 channels, which is kind of amusing. I remember seeing it when I was 11, and I still loved it back then. It's just like the 1970s version of Wonder Woman. It's campy. It can be a little corny. It can be a little exaggerated sometimes. But considering the budget that they had, and considering that they had to do a lot of things on the fly because they did not have the supercomputer graphics of today, they did a wonderful job. The 60s version, very colorful. It's almost like a live morning Saturday cartoon show. You have a lot of famous actors even playing the henchman. What's his name? The meathead from All in the Family was one of the henchmen. Alex Rocco was one of the henchmen. You had a lot of famous. You even had Joan Collins as a villain. You had a lot of famous villains. As far as Julie Newmar, she's great. I saw her in To Catch a Thief and other 60s and 70s TV shows. She was even in Columbo. Um, and she sort of plays it almost like three different people in one. But the funny thing is, it's a very funny combination. And even though she's campy, she's not campy enough that you lose the respect, for her. And she sort of was doing it sort of in a teasing manner. And there are other episodes where she had more to do and more lines, but it is a very well written story. It's very compact. Adam West and Burt Ward, even though they're not super muscle bound, are a little athletic, and they're a great combination, and that's what you want in a duo. And of course, I've seen the other Batman versions, the 1940s version, 1980s version, where they changed it up and they had different actors. I'm not too happy with the modern Batman version. But just like 1940s, they had the car and they had little, tricks in the library and all that. So you sort of had a little bit of that. And the 1940s version did have the cliffhangers as well. And getting back to this story, Catwoman pretty much had the best cliffhangers. The Joker and the Penguin tried, which was other character actors, but the first and second season was Julie Newmar as Catwoman, and she pretty much had the best cliffhangers. One of them was roasting Batman and Robin with a magnifying glass with the sun coming down. And I mean, that's kind of cute for a 1960s TV show. Go ahead, Susan.
Yeah, well, what can I say? I agree with these guys. I agree. It's a really amazing show. It's got hilarious, uh, hilarious effects. The splatter, the big zot and kablam and stuff splattered on the screen was really sweet. I love how these two episodes, Robin was told to put on his seatbelt even if they were only going for a couple blocks. I mean that sort of moral play. There was all these moral issues that they touched on, and they weren't afraid to bring correction to the whole wide world. Like put on your dang seatbelt, people, and other stuff. Don't
Take care of your teeth.
Yeah, take care of your teeth, and don't don't try and take over the world, because it's just a bad idea anyway. um Fun, and it was super fun stuff. And Julie Newmar is statuesque, and she's a total you know heartthrob for a lot of people. And so she has so much presence on screen. I love how she you know she was in her leather with her cat of nine tails. I mean, it was pretty like whoa. And the boots, the kinky boots. Yes, it's true. She's great. And so um yeah, that's oh, and of course, rest in peace, Adam West. God, I can't believe that he's gone, but he did have a long life. But oh my gosh, it's just whatever. Our childhood, Anyway,
And let's go to someone who's not a fan of 1960s Batman at all. He's actually a 1960s Batman hater. Yes, official Batman hater. It's Lee Wilson from Hull.
Oh, you're so wrong. I would just like to start. Yeah, I would just like to start by saying, yeah, Adam West, he passed away a few weeks ago. I just want to thank Mr. West for making my childhood a lot more fun by watching, these series, just brilliant fun for me. I grew up on these, and I don't tire of watching them. They'll never get tired to me. It's an iconic show. You've got everything here. You've got Adam West and Burt Ward playing Batman and Robin so straight. It's funny. That's what I mean. Everything is discipline. You've got to do the right thing. It comes across so funny, and you've got the iconic Batmobile.
Can I just say something?
Go on.
These must be really good to cheer you up living in Hull as a child.
Right, moving on. He has to get a little digging, doesn't he, every now and again? At least I don't live in Leicester. Right. Where was? Oh yeah. As it's been said, every week you had every other week you had guest star villains. These two episodes, Julie Newmar, perfect Catwoman. She oozed the feline femininity really of this character. I mean, every now and again in the scene, she's licking the back of her hand or she's going meow. But for me, yeah, she was my favourite TV Catwoman. I know there was two more in the 66 sort of range, but for me, she was the Catwoman. But Michelle Pfeiffer was movie Catwoman for me as well. But whoa, Julie Newmar, I agree. She is she's every young lad's, shall we say, dream in that little outfit she wears. Am I going too far with the dreams about Julie Newmar? I don't know.
Well, you've got Alex smiling and nodding along, so what?
because I know
Susan,
Alex.
you know what costume to get now, do you?
I know Alex quite fancied Julie Newmar back in the day.
Oh, it's coming out now. Oh, publicly as well, in front of millions. There's millions of people watching this, This is the highest rated program on YouTube. Tish, you can have a look at the views.
But what gets me about this show is they succeeded in taking the comics and putting them on the screen. They did just literally take it from the pages and put it on the screen. They made a live action comic, and it was the early days of colour TV, and they went with the colour, and it just bang hits you, with as Beef Dad said, with the zap, the kapow, and the costumes. And also, did you notice all the villains' hideouts? I mean, I know Alex must have just seen this episode, but all the villains' hideouts in every single episode are shot on an angle.
Oh.
They're all on an angle, the villains' hideouts, and it always makes me laugh that the villains always hide out in a place, warehouse or factory, as in this episode, Shat, which means cat. Bit of a giveaway. Or if it's Mr. Freeze, he's in an Ice Ollie factory, or if it's the Joker, he's in a fun factory. Why don't, Batman Robin might as well just go straight there, sort of. But it's all done tongue in cheek, and it's just so camp. It's wonderful. Love it.
And for me, like Lee says, this is the first time I've ever watched this. I've seen clips. Of course I've seen clips. I mean, you see clips of, in reels of stuff. This is the first time I've actually sat down and watched a full episode, a two-parter. And I'll be honest, it's for kids really, isn't it? I mean, the acting is terrible, to be honest. I mean, the sets are awful. I mean, it's trying to be funny, but the problem is it doesn't work. I don't like the kapow and stuff like that. It's too distracting. I think it's a little bit silly. Yeah, I didn't enjoy it at all. Have I fooled you? No, I haven't fooled you. Of course I loved it. I really did enjoy it. It's a load of fun. At least you signed relief there. No, I love camp. I don't care what anybody says. I love camp. Camper the better, I say. I mean, I'd have every show camp if I could. No, I love the acting is good. It's like Alex says. It's done in a way, like Lee says, that the Batman and Robin are played straight. They're played serious because really you can't take it serious. It's a comedy, isn't it, really? You know, it's so funny. It's a comedy. I mean, everything is explanation as well. Like you've got Batman's bookshelf, you know, for information, and it will literally read out what the bookshelf is, won't it? You know, and the research bookshelf sort of thing. And I do like the kapows. They make it more exciting, and this is in color as well. All the episodes are in color, aren't they? Yeah, are they? Yeah, the whole series is in color because back in 1966 was this? Yeah, something like that. Other shows, especially in the UK, like Doctor Who, was still in black and white at that point. But yeah, I did enjoy it. I thought Catwoman was really good. The person who played Catwoman was very good, and I just want though a Batmobile like that has when its wheels deflate, it just fixes itself. Wouldn't that be so handy in life? You know, you got a puncture, it just heals itself. It just blows back up. You know, and of course you've got the lion in it, which you wouldn't have these days. You'd never see, apart from if it was like a zoo program. You wouldn't have a lion in a TV program. Like you just wouldn't have a lion anymore.
Tiger.
You won't, or a tiger, yeah.
Sorry, tiger, not a lion. Tiger. I'm thinking of the Lion King, which a tiger. Yeah, but you wouldn't have a tiger. You wouldn't have a live animal in TV shows. It just wouldn't happen anymore. So yeah, I genuinely really did enjoy it, and I can see why it cheered Lee up in Hull as a child. And I can see why you like it, Lee. Now I can see, because I've never watched it in full before. I've only watched clips of it. And when you watch clips of it, you think, oh, that's a little bit silly. That's a little bit. But actually, when you watch the whole thing, it's really good. It's really enjoyable. So I'm definitely going to watch more at some point. We had a brief cameo by Brian. So let's go into favourite moments, favourite characters, and all that. Or least favourite moments. Are there parts you don't like? Lee, is there anything you didn't like in it? I bet you've seen these 100 times, haven't you, Lee? 100 times word by word.
I've got the box set. So if you want, I could lend you the box set if you want to watch more. Yeah, there's nothing bad about it, to be honest. I mean, it is played for laughs. It is, as you say, you know, it's played straight, but it's played for laughs. That is done on purpose. The only thing, not about these episodes, about this series in general, is it got axed, and it's a shame it got axed.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, it got cancelled. The way American TV works is if ratings start to drop, you cancel, you're axed. And by the third season, ratings started to fall, and it got axed.
So it had no ending then? It didn't have like they didn't go off into the sunset together or anything?
No. It was the last episode was it wasn't even a main villain last episode. It was Jar Jar. Oh yeah. But yeah, it just finished and they never came back. It would have been nice for them to do a fourth season and finish it if they were going to finish it.
Well, sorry, Lee. What happened was ABC cut back the budget. Then they only had 2 producers. They didn't have the 3 or 4 or 5 that you need. Then on top of that, they cut the time, so the stories were quicker. Then they replaced Catwoman with Eartha Kitt. No offense to Eartha Kitt. and the stories weren't as good. And because they had to be very, very short, the only other benefit of the third season was Batgirl.
So did they try to kill it off? Did they? Is that what happened? They tried to kill it off.
What happened was the remaining producers seemed to think that they were geniuses, and they weren't. And then the stories became too short, and the cliffhangers suffered as well. And then the next thing is, if they hadn't destroyed the Batcave, which I guess was $80,000, I didn't realize it was that expensive.
Oh, jeez.
In 1960s money, that's probably $1 million.
Yeah.
So NBC actually would have picked it up, which is very funny because Star Trek had a few campy episodes as well. But it was also, the style. And I mean, there was a few episodes that even I kind of winced at, but it wasn't the first season. It wasn't the second season. It was when the third season came along. That's kind of like, ugh, But as far as these ones go, it's very good. Again, it's a 60s TV show, so some parts were campy, some parts were in jokes, some parts were making fun of itself and all that. And there's nothing wrong. More TV shows should be doing that, actually.
But the animated ones,
Yeah.
they're a continuation of this?
Well, if you're talking about like the Super Friends or other things, yeah. And they actually did have Burt Ward do a couple of those and Adam West do a couple of those. And there was a TV movie where they all came back as well. Plus, there was a new animated short that they did with Julie Newmar and Adam West and Burt Ward. And I guess Adam West finally recorded enough material that they can do a second animated DVD. So I guess that's good. But like I said, it's also a different time, too. I mean, they've tried to make it more gritty and more adult and less jokes and things like that. I mean, we're talking... Yeah,
but if you're feeling down, you want to pick yourself up. You don't bang in the Nolan movies of Batman. Yeah. You bang in this in your DVD player because you do.
Banging is not quite the right word.
You put this DVD in. You don't put the Dark Knights or the Dark Knight Rises because you feel depressed by the end of that movie.
I don't like those Batman ones. I like this Batman.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Nicholson was pretty funny, but that's a different movie and it's more adult and all that. And then in the movie version, you had Lee Merriweather as the Catwoman, which isn't bad, but it isn't as good as Julie Newmar.
And we're not going to go on to the Catwoman movie, are we? No, that is genuinely awful.
Not
even
that
though
piece
I've
of
seen
shit.
that. That was awful. So I can't remember what we're talking about now.
The Catwoman show. Beef Dad, did you say anything? Did I miss it? Or
I was thinking of saying something. The thing is, this first series, they did 34 episodes, and it was so very popular and so well all over the world that the second series went to 60 episodes.
Right.
Oh, that's a lot of episodes in a series.
Yeah, that is a lot of episodes in this series. It was just brilliant, and they really kept it going.
So did they overkill it then? Is that what they did? They overkilled it. They overmilked it.
I think they slightly overkilled.
Yeah. Because you got to leave people wanting more, haven't you? That's the clue to anything. Yeah.
Well, I mean, unless I'm mistakenly, wasn't most of the stories Catwoman, Penguin, and Joker, and then everybody else was...
And Riddler.
Yeah, I'm sorry, what's that, Beef Dad?
And Riddler.
Oh, Riddler. And then they had King Tut. Wasn't that the order, basically? It was Penguin, Joker, Catwoman, what's the other one? Riddler. And King Tut.
Yeah.
Because it's obvious that Catwoman isn't dead at the end.
Ah, well.
She's not. She fell down that pit, but she's not dead.
Yeah.
Because you saw that cat at the end.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
don't forget, a cat has 9 lives.
Yeah.
And then also the funny thing
There's
is,
only one person with feet that size.
yeah. And then the funny thing
That made
is,
me
I mean,
laugh,
they played it for comedy, but I don't remember Cesar Romero being a comedic actor. And then you even had 2 episodes with what's his name, the Green Hornet, which was also their show that they produced with Bruce Lee as Kato.
Yeah.
I've just remembered
Bruce Lee.
my favorite bit actually is the catch up. You know, the previously with the voiceover. It's hilarious.
Yeah, tune in, same cat time, same cat channel.
Yeah, right. Instead of Batman, yeah.
William Dozier used to do the
The
narration.
narration's brilliant. Yeah.
He was just absolutely superb.
Yeah, now what he was sorry, Lee, he was in the last episode with Zsa Zsa Gabor. He was one of the customers. And I think he only talked for like 5 seconds, so I guess he
Mhm.
took away the narration. Yeah.
It was always good every week to see what the villains came up with to destroy Batman and Robin, which contraption they would be at the cliffhanger. Because it was just so horrendous, stupid, and they put them in. I can't what they put them in a great big egg timer or something like that. Or it was. But I'll tell you something. A certain Mr. Moffat should take note about how to write cliffhangers like this.
Yeah.
Well, the cat.
It's a bit too late now, though, isn't it?
Yeah, the Catwoman also had the hot scalding cup of coffee. She also had the magnifying glass to burn them with sunburn. She also had a giant eardrum to distract, to disorient them with sound. She had some of the best ideas, really.
So is this the first time Batman has appeared on screen? Then this is the first incarnation.
The
1940s.
40s were the first one.
Who?
1940s.
Oh, 1940. So this is the second.
But the 1940s was like a serial, wasn't it? Like an old Flash Gordon serial. What you used to go to the movies and watch.
Yeah, Saturday morning pictures. I used to see those at.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Robin wasn't much of a boy in those. I mean, he was a regular guy.
Yeah.
So
He was hardly the boy wonder.
Yeah, the other thing that was funny was the felt. The Batman wore a felt bat signal. But I did enjoy the part in the 1940s Batman, which was not only the cliffhangers, which was the second serial that they did, but also the time that they took Alfred and Batman and Robin and they jumped out of the back seat of the car, whatever version that was, with holding the costumes while they're rolling on the ground. And yeah, it's stupid, but I loved it.
It's done like a pantomime, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's done like a pantomime.
Also, as well, you've got to remember the Batman and Robin always used to get out of predicaments with their equipment. What was always on their person at the right time. Like this episode, I've got a list here. He had what did he have? He had his bat claws. He had his bat earplugs. I mean, they all symboled with the bat thing, right? But it's he had the bat research shelf, which you mentioned with the books on.
The shelf with the books, yeah. And it says what it is as well. It's like so self-explanatory, the whole thing, and they say exactly what they're doing and going to do. They talk about the plot. Do you know what I mean? They talk about the plot. That's the dialogue. They talk about the plot, really.
Well,
it's a live action comic book. That's all it is.
I love it. It's great. It is great fun. It is a good laugh.
Isn't that the funny thing too about the cat statues? And then they go into this big lecture about, don't hold the cat too close to your face because the radiation will, leak and I was like, what the? And then Robin finally realized that the Catwoman might infect herself with the holding the statues too close to her body. She might with the radiation and the tracking radiation that they had to finally pinpoint her location. So I mean, it is funny how a lot of the 1960s shows, which were influenced by James Bond and other things, they came up with, like Get Smart had the shoe phone. So that's before the cell phone. And the Man from U.N.C.L.E. had, inventions too. and Batman had inventions as well, shark repellent, and other other weird, but strangely enough, not totally unuseful things for a TV show.
So is this one of your favourite episodes then, Lee? Is that why you chose it? Is this one of your personal favourites?
No, I didn't choose it.
Who chose it? Oh, was it voted for in the poll?
It was two villains, one, remember? Catwoman and Joker.
Yeah, yes. I voted
just-
for Catwoman, I think, yeah.
I just tossed a coin and Catwoman won, which was luckily enough because I think Alex was over the moon when he heard it was Catwoman. Especially Julie New.
Might have been fun if we'd done Egghead.
Egghead,
that's
yes,
right, Vincent Price, yeah.
Right.
Price.
Yeah, but he had all those,
Burger.
he had all those excellent puns.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I could just imagine. Yeah,
The yoke's on you.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, that was one of the titles of the show. I'm sorry, I forgot about Egghead as well, which I shouldn't.
And Ma Barker.
What's
Shelley
that?
Winters.
Yeah.
Ma Barker and her family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they had what was it? They had the bookworm and the leather and the little hat with the.
Yeah.
Mm.
You're really into the liver, aren't you, Alex? I
And
tell
the
you.
Archer.
Archer, yeah. Minstrel.
The minstrel, yeah.
But they used to sort of sort these people out to give them a villain part. They would have a guest villain.
Yeah.
I mean, Carolyn Jones played the Queen of Diamonds.
Oh yeah, that was great too.
Yeah, Carolyn Jones. Everyone remembers her from the Addams Family.
Yeah, Morticia, yep.
Yeah, she
The
played
original, yep.
I mean, I remember reading something about that they had a set visit by Frank Sinatra. He was up for he wanted to play a villain and he wanted to see how
You wanted to do it his way.
Yeah, he wanted to do it. but
Liberace did it.
yeah, it never happened with Frank Sinatra
Yeah,
for some
Liberace,
reason.
Yeah, Liberace played a villain.
They said that it was all the actors of the day wanted to appear on it.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was like the show at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah,
the
it was an NBC show, and I think what was it, 6:30, 7:30 at night? Or something like that?
I don't know what time it was in America.
But you can tell watching it that this would have been a really expensive show at the time. Wouldn't it? This would have been quite, this would have been quite something to watch. Yeah.
All the sets and all the at the time the graphics for the kapows and stuff like that. And
Yeah, it must have been quite difficult to do at the time, considering the 60s.
Well, I mean, as Lee says, it's a live action comic, and that's what you see at the beginning with the credits. You see the villains, you see them fighting the villains, you see the Batmobile, and then the third season you had Batgirl on her, motorcycle, her Batcycle.
But it's got a charm to it, hasn't it? There's a certain charm to it. There's a certain, it just makes you smile watching it because it's so, it's like Flash Gordon, isn't it? Like I said before this cast started, I said it's got that Flash Gordon feel about it.
yeah.
The bright colours and just the way it just is and written.
I'll tell you something though. The Gotham City police force isn't up to much because if I was in charge, I'd just look at where this phone line went to. The red bat phone. Well, it must have a landline somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, actually, it is kind of funny that it's in a glass case and it's red and it's on a pedestal and it's very easy to see. And then actually in the third season when the Eartha Kitt Catwoman and the Joker paired together, they were actually shooting bullets into the commissioner's office. And I was kind of like, wow, that's a little bit adult for a show that's supposed to be, tongue in cheek. And the Joker even did that in a couple of episodes that he actually showed up at the commissioner's office. I was like, oh my goodness.
And also, you've got to mention of the brief appearance in this episode of Aunt Harriet, which she always appeared in the episodes, but they always used to pretend they were doing something else when they was answering the phone.
Yeah, Madge Blake.
Right.
That was
Blake, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, unfortunately, she got sick by the third season and the budget too, so she kind of disappeared. And then there was one Julie Newmar story where she actually two, where she was in disguise. One as an elderly man, but she was covered up, and James Brolin was actually the chauffeur that drove her around. And in another episode, she was a dance teacher, and she was actually at Wayne. Well, it was more than one time that she was at Wayne Manor, as a matter of fact. And I think one of the other times she was with Leslie Gore as her, protege. Leslie Gore as Pussycat.
The Leslie Gore
Yeah.
from It's My Party.
Yeah, and she actually sung a song in the episode, and it was great. California Nights, it was called.
He knows all his stuff about this, doesn't he?
He's an expert, I'm telling you now. He knows nearly more than you, Lee. So is Adam West your favourite Batman then, Lee, is he? Because you watch all the Batmans, didn't you?
Well, I mean, I did like the 1940s version. It's just that it's so long, unless you're only going to watch 3 episodes, it's so long. They actually showed it at a movie house about 5 cities away, and that was.
Yeah, but what about the new Batmans, the one in the films?
I mean, I like Michael.
The Dark Knight, and
I like Michael Caine and I like Anne Hathaway, but I think they went the wrong direction with the Batmans, and I actually like Michael Keaton. George Clooney and Val Kilmer, no, it's.
What's wrong with George Clooney as Batman?
I mean, I did like Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, but the Riddler was more over the top than the TV show. And even people said that in the audience, they were like, well, what's going on here? I might as well be watching the 1960s version. Yeah, no, I know Jim Carrey plays it zany usually, but it just got to the point where, I think the reason why they had to reboot it was because it was getting too much like the 1960s, and you might as well watch that. There's no point in trying to watch a new version, even with Uma Thurman and Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. It just got a little, it got to the point where even the audience, I could hear them groaning. It was like, the 60s version was campy and it was silly, but it didn't lose the audience. As the movies went on from the 80s to the 90s, mid 90s or late 90s, it kind of lost the audience, I think.
But you got to remember, this could easily have gone awfully, couldn't it? Because when you try to do something,
it never did though. And the really cool thing is that Batman has become, once again sort of a mainstream superhero. I mean, there's the Batman versus Superman and the other Batman stuff that's going on with Gotham and stuff, Batman not included or whatever it is. I just love Sean Pertwee as Alfred. There's some good stuff going on with Batman. But anyway,
I mean Gotham.
Yeah, isn't that what I said? Yeah. But anyway, you're absolutely right, Kevin, and I really I'm enjoying the modern takes on Batman, but I did like, I did like the one with Michael Keaton, and I did like Jack Nicholson, and I did like the 60s Batman with Adam West. I mean, he did a really tremendous job bringing some degree of control. He had so much control. He brought some degree of perspective to it, and it was super fun. Anyway, that's my bit. I just figured I'd throw in 2 cents here.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, they even said that in the Batman TV show that every decade has its own language, its own music, its own mindset. So obviously, the 1940s Batman is going to be different than the 1980s Batman, and the 1980s Batman is going to be different than the 90s or the 2000s versions. I mean, I have what I like. I like the 40s, the 60s, and the 80s version. I'm not talking about the cartoons from the Super Friends or other versions. But I mean, I do like Batman. I kind of hope in this new decade that they concentrate a little bit more on Wonder Woman, where you haven't had 10 versions of that already. But
You just got Susan really excited
yeah.
there.
But I saw the new Wonder Woman. It was all right. But I did actually like her in Batman versus Superman, except for the accent. The accent I thought was a little heavy-handed. But I mean,
Susie in the comment section now, watching this video, is going to be jumping up and down and typing Wonder Woman, it's amazing.
No, but I mean, again, it all depends too, because there's also been many versions of Superman, but that's going way off topic.
Yeah, we're going off topic there. Brian, are you there? Brian? No. Okay. Anyway, I think we're gonna wrap up now, because
we're gonna rate this. Yeah,
we're gonna rate this. We're gonna put it in the bag. So we might as well go to Kevin for final say and score. If Kevin's still with us.
I'm still with
Not watching something else you shouldn't be.
No.
but he's got his Superman shirt on.
That's not an excuse. Is that the excuse you give, Alex? I got my Superman shirt on. Anyway, yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
Well, I really love this 2 episodes, so I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10. Better ends.
9.5. Let's go to Alex and Susan.
You go first.
Final say and score.
I would rate it. I would rate it a 9 only because of Julie Newmar's performance. There are better Catwoman stories in the series, so I can't give the story high marks. But I mean, I'm sure there's better cliffhangers. There's better stories, like when Catwoman goes to college. That's very good.
Okay, I'll give it a 9 out of 10 too. I'm not a great fan like some of the others in this cast, but I do enjoy a good Batman show and a good Batman and a good Catwoman. She was cool, and I'd suggest not to get too close to the statues of the cats. They're radioactive. Okay.
That's good advice for the viewers out there. So viewers, take note. Let's go to Germany with Beef Dad. Final say and score.
Yeah, this was the stuff that I really loved. The Batman stuff that I really loved. To be perfectly honest, the new Batman stories that they've done, the films, I find a little dark. The series was much more entertaining. It was entertainment. For me, it gets a 9.5.
And do I really need to ask Lee? Better HUD, because that's...
Well, to answer your question, what you asked me, which Alex answered for me, yes, Adam West is my favourite Batman.
I noticed that, Alex. I thought it was very good ventriloquism, actually. I thought you could go on the road with that. Alex just gets excited.
Yeah, it stood the test. It's not dated. It's pop art of the 60s. It's brilliant. It's all what I expect it to be. It makes me smile when I watch this. So I'm going to give it 10 bat nipples out of 10.
Oh, bat nipples. Oh, there we go.
Well, we go from Woman the Lamb to bat nipples.
Kevin, you beat me to it.
Kevin? That's a reference. It's a reference to one of the 90s movies. What wasn't very good.
Yes, but we won't.
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze. Yeah. And for me, well, I've never watched any other episode before, so I don't really know what score to give it because I don't know how to compare it. There's probably better episodes, is there? Or yeah. And well, all I can say is that I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a fun watch. And like Beef Dad said, it's entertainment. And what do you want from entertainment. You want to be entertained. And that's exactly what it did. I was entertained. So what more can I say about it? It was really enjoyable. I thought it was very, very good considering it's 1966.
And it's a superhero thing. It's a superhero thing, what you absolutely hate.
I don't like superhero things, but it's because it's camp, and in a way it doesn't, you know, I don't like the new Batmans. I've seen one of the new Batman films, the first one. Is it The Dark Knight or the one before? It's the one with the Joker. And it was too dark, it was too gloomy, it was too serious. I like my films with a bit of fun and a bit of glitz and glamour and, you know, bright colours and things like that. And, you know, just to be entertained, you know, and it entertained me. It did entertain me. And like I say, like Lee says, you know, I don't like superhero stuff, but I really enjoyed this. I'm really struggling to know what to score it because I've never watched an episode before.
Give it a 10.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 10. I'm going to give it a 10.
It's a 10. It's a 10
because I
for
did really enjoy it. So, you know, tell us below what you thought of the Purr-fect Crime, I should say. Better luck next time. And yes, Lee's got the book as well. Lee's got everything on it. I'm telling you, if you need to know about this series, Lee or Alex is the person to ask. But if you've seen this episode or any other episode, then tell us below what you make of it. Hit that subscribe button. And I'd like to thank everybody here for joining me. I'd like to thank you for watching. Look after yourself, and we'll see you next time.
Kapow!